Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Cybersnowolf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. In the last episode, we did a showcase on the Arbiter Remake minifigure. Now, this episode, we are doing a project that I had started last year, but didn't get it done until this year, which is Transformers. So, as you can see, we have the two most iconic Transformers with Optimus Prime and Megatron. Transformers was something that, in LEGO format, I had wanted to try for a while, but didn't quite know, which approach I wanted to go with. If I wanted to do minifigure, or to even see if I could, make the Transformers and then, have them transform. Or eventually I decided to at least, do minifigure format, see how that goes, and then maybe do some more in the future. And I chose to do Optimus and Megatron, as they're some of the most iconic Transformers characters, and I think would be cool to, see, how they turn out in minifigure form, which was a lot of fun to do, and I'm happy with how they turn out in the end. So, as you guys know the drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time, do reviewing them, explain the process, why we have this route, and then go from there. So without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get this showcase on the road. So to start off our showcase, here we have Optimus Prime, the leader of the Autobots. So with the overall design that I went for this one, I kind of went with the Generation 1 look, since it's, the most iconic look in Optimus, but did a couple of my own detail stuff here and there, which I'll explain as we progress. So, to first get out of the way, the blaster that I gave for him is just a Star Wars one that I found in my weapons bin drawer that I thought it looked pretty cool. Very cool to have for him. So, go ahead and move that out of the way. Whoops. And the figure of how I did for this one was a bit of one of my more unique approaches for him. So, the base body that I used for him was from a Galactus knockoff minifig, mostly for, the elongated arms and legs. The arms, though, I'm using for a different project, so I actually just took some regular minifig arms, sawed them down, and then use some appropriate clay to extend the base and the base ends for each of them. Then with the overall look for him on the torso, I actually took some clay and put it on the bottom of the torso, connecting to the legs. I then took another torso or so, sawed it down for a bit, and sawed it down to the point where the sides were easily accessible, and then glued them onto the sides of the regular minifig torso or so. And I made sure to keep the holes and keep the hole sockets in place to where he can still fit in with the arms to have rotation. This one's a little bit loose, but thankfully it does stay in place. Just have to be a bit careful with it. And this method was sort of to help give the extended chest piece, especially when he transforms into truck form. And I think it turned out pretty good. It was definitely a bit more of a pain to do than intended, but it definitely came out pretty nicely, so I do like that. The head was also an interesting approach. So what I did was I had a knockoff Optimus Prime figure. I think it was for Age of Extinction and the Last Night. I got rid of the helmet on that one, but kept the head itself, and basically just sculpted around the heads to sort of give it the look of the Generation 1, but also loosely giving off the same look that he has in Transformers Prime. I really like the Optimus design in that one. So I tried to translate that as best I could on with the head. And it's not perfect, but does come up pretty good. And in the back, you can see just some light detailing here and there. You can see down here of where I sculpted in, on with his boots. And on the side here we have with some of the wheels, going in from both the sides of the legs. But then down here we can see of here's the third wheel, the other wheels on with the torso. And here's how I said of this arm is pretty loose, so gotta be careful with it. But it does stay in place once you apply enough force into it. So that's still pretty good. Some of the detailing stuff, I mostly did additional details just to give it a more robotic approach, a robotic look to it, rather than just leaving it blank. Most of the detailing work is up here on the front, where you can see of the windows as well as the grill, here on the truck. On the sides, of course, he's got his smokestacks, which I thought that was pretty cool for Optimus, so I kept those in. And then just took a couple of Lego rods, cut them in half, then sculpted around the top of the smokestack onto it, which turned out pretty good. So with the overall paint job that I did to it, it's completely metallic. Well, not completely. The windows and the yellow lights are normal acrylics, but the rest of it is metallics to sort of give the robotic look for it, which turned out pretty good. A unique thing about it is these little stickers. You can kind of see that these are actually Autobot symbols. So one of the reasons that I waited so long to do this, not just because of how I wanted to make it, but I wanted to do the symbols correctly those correctly, but since they're so small, I knew for a fact that it'd be really, really difficult to fully paint them on. So I asked on the Transformers subreddit, and was recommended to this website called Toy Hacks, which one of the which also sell like Transformer stickers for like small models and action figures. So I bought a sheet of like these small like Transformer logos, and put them onto the shoulders, which turned out really great. It matches up with the overall look for it, which I really, really like. To finally show it off with the shoulders, I actually took like a couple of Lego bricks, cut them down for a bit, and then glued them onto the sides of the shoulders, mostly to give of like his triangular shoulders to fully match up with the truck. And in addition with the blaster, I also found this cool little axe in the weapons bin as well. That I wasn't using for anything else, but it looks like pretty robotic and Cybertronian. That I took the axe, give it a paint job to represent like the orange Energon axe to pull it off, and I think it looks pretty cool. It overall completes the character, and it was a lot of fun to do. I'd say like the most difficult part was probably with the torso, mostly with the idea that I was going for. But once I got that out of the way, this turned out really amazing, and I really liked it. And last up on our list is Megatron, the leader of the Decepticons. So this one, I went with a more creative idea with this one. As with Optimus, I tried to do some creativity with my own stuff but mostly with detailing, but still kept the Generation 1 look overall. With Megatron, he kind of has some elements of Generation 1, but I went with a more creative approach with it, mostly for fun and to see like how it would turn out. So, with this version of Megatron, I envisioned him as maintaining his Cybertronian form, as I feel like that he'd feel like more powerful and superior in that form than another one. And I mostly prioritized with sculpting on this one more than just with detailing. So, with the torso and the arms, I did the same thing that I did with Optimus, since it worked out pretty well. I then just did layers of sculpting around with the back and with the torso, or so, mostly to see like how that would play out. I loosely based it off a couple of stuff from like the Transformers 1 movie with Megatron, a little bit with I believe it was the Fall of Cybertron Megatron. Yeah, Fall of Cybertron Megatron, especially like on the shoulders and the way how with some of the paintwork and work on here with the purple energy, it represents of like the Energon going through with the bodies, which I really liked that design and the Cybertron formats. So I carried it over here with Megatron, his shoulders, like you could see like the clay just do layers and layers of it, and thankfully, unlike Optimus, I learned my mistake, that I did with Optimus, that both of the arms do stay in place, so I don't have to worry about like them just popping off randomly. So, and then with a couple of other stuff like on here with the legs, I actually decided to extend on the feet a little bit. So down here, you can see of like a couple of Lego pieces on here. What I did was basically like, I took a couple of these brick pieces, sand them down as much as I could, and then kind of just glue them over the feet while sculpting over them to sort of like extend on the feet, to sort of like give like a pointed toe kind of look, as some of the adaptations of Megatron do have that look. Then with the metallics, mostly with silver, I had this maroon, that's, I think I was doing it for a potential like Captain America and Winter Soldier minifigure. And then like over here, like the Onyx, and the Onyx are like the black metallic. Like for this one, instead of just the gunmetal, which translated pretty well. The cannon arm is probably one of my favorites. As with that one, I just took like a bazooka piece, cut off like the handle bit, shrunk down and on one of the cannon parts just a bit, and then like glued it on here while sculpting on to fuse with the arm, and then at the bottom it just added in a couple of my own stuff here and there, and it actually managed to translate pretty well. And also that way he can raise up and then like fire on the cannon, which I always liked the cannon. I always liked the cannon arm. I thought that was a pretty cool design for Megatron. With the head, and the head is mostly based off of the Transformers 1 adaptation, as I thought that was pretty cool, as it was like Generation 1, but with a more like Cybertronian look to it. It looked pretty well, and the face underneath was the same as like a Megatron knockoff minifig, but I just took the head and painted over it except for the eyes, and then just sculpted around with the head, as well as like his like skull, his painting on with the mouth, and it translated pretty well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. He also has a decal sticker of the Decepticon symbol, but for this one, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the purple, or these were mirror decals that I got. But you can't really see the Decepticon symbol quite as well as the Autobot symbol. I'm not sure why. But it does. But it does still like give off the idea that okay, yeah, this is Decepticon, this is Megatron, and still went pretty well. Well, and then finally, an additional bit. This was a last piece, but of course he has his Energon mace. I really like Megatron like wielding the mace, and I've seen like a few cool depictions of his weapon, and I tried to find something that would look pretty cool as like brick format, but I couldn't find anything that I felt really suited for Megatron. So I improvised with my own design. That I took this spear that I had in the bin, then this soccer ball as a base or football. Just use that as the base, drilled a hole in the center of this thing, which took way longer than it should have. And I've managed to get like the correct length between like on the spear and mirrored it down here on the handle to basically stick the ball into the spear, and the spear glued it in place along with some appropriate clay to just add some reinforcement into it, and then and then sand it off as much as like the soccer ball or football ball design over the piece. Glued in a couple of blades. Like I first glued in 4 blades around with the soccer ball, and then took some appropriate clay and sculpted out the rest of the spikes. Then finally topped it off with the paintwork of the gunmetal gray, as well as like the light purple representing the Energon into it. Anyway, the handle is a little bit loose, but if you position it right, and I guess like don't move it quite as much, it does stay in place, and it still like gives off the idea that like it's Megatron's primary weapon, and it turned out pretty cool. It's probably like one of my more successful custom weapon designs that I worked on, especially handmade version. It went out pretty good, and I really liked with how it turned out. Especially like I said, the creativity approach that I went for Megatron. I really liked how it translated, and was much better than I anticipated it to be. And that's going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a fun project to do. Like I said, like I played around with the idea of doing Transformers for a while, but wasn't sure how to approach it in LEGO format. But seeing like how these two had turned out, so I thought it was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't mind doing another Transformers showcase in the future. So let me know if you want to see that in the comments below. In the meantime, I got like another project in the works, but that one unfortunately isn't probably going to be ready for a while, as there's a couple of things I wanted to do, but I'm still experimenting with how to do it. In terms of gameplays, I'm hoping to figure out what's something I want to do pretty soon, as so far for now, like the next game that I definitely want to do for a series is Doom: The Dark Ages. Maybe I'll do like another Doom game as sort of a build up for it. We'll see how it goes. For now, though, that's going to be it. So if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps us work on Let's Plays, LEGO projects, and we're mainly here to have some fun. So overall, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, come over to share your friends, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time in the next video. Goodbye!